Demand is also being fueled by a boom in middle agents in China who help match potential clients with U.S. agencies. Rise in demand for American surrogates in China are many. Better medical care is one. The ability to choose sex, illegal in China, is another. And instant American citizenship is also a factor.
In just 10 years, the number of babies born by gestational carriers more than tripled.
Tere Banuet will be a surrogate this year for a Chinese couple who tried and failed several times to have a child on their own.
They're always saying, thank you so much, thank you. And honestly, like, it just feels good to be appreciated and that somebody is depending on you to give them what they've been wanting for so many years.
Hi everyone, welcome to Yuying Baby. I'm Top Doctor. My name is Dee. I'm the co-founder of Yuying Baby. So since the opening up of China's second child policy, we've seen a huge increase of number of people who need the third-party assisted reproductive services. And today we're so glad to have Mrs. Stephanie from the Surrogacy Law Center based in California, and Jennifer from the Surrogacy and Egg Donation Agency in California join us. We'll be talking about the third-party assisted reproductive services in the United States. Okay, so guys, please briefly introduce yourself, your personal and professional background to our audience.
All right, my name is Stephanie Caballero. I am an attorney practicing reproductive law in California. I got into this business because I had my own personal journey. It took me 8 years and 13 IVF procedures to have my children, and they were carried by a surrogate. So I was very grateful to her, and I bring that experience to my clients.
Mm-hmm. So we heard about the egg donation, the sperm donation, and the surrogacy in the United States. And so I would like to know, how do you define the third-party assisted reproductive services?
It's legal in most parts of the United States. There are some states where you have to be careful. I'm from California, so California you can do egg donation, surrogacy, and sperm donation. What you really want to be careful with is your matching agency. How long have they been in business? What type of surrogates do they have? Do they work with you before asking for any funds? You know, those kind of things. You really want to be careful. And if you're from China, you want to know, do they have experience working with the Chinese? Do they have people on staff that speak Mandarin? Are there documents in Mandarin? Those are things you really want to look out for. There are a lot of agencies out there, and there are definitely some good, really good ones. But, you know, do your due diligence.
Yeah, so in which states in the United States the reproductive law is friendly to like surrogacy?
California is one of the friendliest states. We have very well-established laws, not only for surrogacy, but for egg donation and sperm donation. Nevada and Oregon are good, but then you go to a state like Washington, and you absolutely cannot pay your surrogate. And then there's a state like Michigan, where I wouldn't even go there and do a surrogacy. So you have to be very careful that you're working with a good team, a good agency, and a good attorney that really knows what they're doing.
So the big concern for our IP is the legal part. They want to be protected by the local law. And our Indian parents are always confused about this.
The question I get, number one question is, will my surrogate take my baby, and what happens if she does? And number one, your surrogate isn't going to take your baby. She's been psychologically screened, she's been medically screened, she meets with her attorney, she signs a contract, and she has her own children. That's what she wants. She wants to give you a baby. But let's say that she does. Doesn't happen, but let's say that she does. That baby, under California law, is yours, not the surrogate's. So if she were to do that, that would be a very serious crime, and she could go to jail. So when you work with me, what I do is not only do I provide the documents to you in Mandarin, but we have a very secure contract under California law. And the moment you sign and notarize that contract, you are presumed to be the parents. That's what the law says. And my parents are very, very comforted by that.
Which means that at the moment you sign the contract, the surrogate contract, and the kid is the property of the IPs.
It is looked at under the law as if the parents are presumed to be the parents, but there is a second step that we have to go through, because in California and other states, when a woman gives birth, she is presumed to be the mother. So we petition the court and we do a court documents, so we get a judgment which cannot be changed, and that says that the parents are legally the parents of that child the moment that child's born. So they get the bracelets, they control the health care, they put their names directly on the birth certificate as if they gave birth.
Okay. Throughout the whole process, so how many contracts do our IPs need to sign? Who do they sign with?
So they have one contract. So they sign, and I would represent the parents, and the surrogate has her own attorney, but it's one contract. So they all sign one contract, and it takes about 2 weeks to 8 weeks, depending upon parents' schedules, timing, the surrogate's timing. So it's just one contract that you sign, but all the parties sign. If the surrogate has a husband, then he signs it as well. Same with the court documents. It's one set of court documents, but lots of people sign them.
So you, the IPs talk to you and negotiate about the details in the contract. Once you reach the agreement, and you will negotiate with the other attorney.
Correct. I don't meet with the surrogate, but once we have all the terms and we talk about, bed rest and, what's going to happen and how far can she travel. Clients are very concerned about their surrogate going, out of state or, far away, and if she works, and does she have a pet in her house, and what does she eat. So we talk about all these things with them. We talk about the law and what's going to happen, but they're things that they're, really interested in. And then once we get all those terms to their satisfaction, the contract goes to the surrogate's attorney, and then the surrogate's attorney meets with their client, and they talk about, what it means to be a surrogate and what you're giving up and what you're gaining, the relationship with the parents. And I have to say that most surrogates treat their surrogate baby better when they're pregnant for the parents than when they were pregnant with their own children, because they know, there's parents, there's attorneys, there's agencies, there's doctors, and they want to do a really, really good job for you.
Yeah. So how long does it take to finish all the legal part?
The legal part typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks, but sometimes it takes longer. Chinese New Year just ended, so it's really hard to get a hold of our clients then, especially the clients that are having babies right about now. We have to be very patient during that 2-week time frame. So we kind of plan for that and do the best we can. So right now the contracts are taking a little bit longer because there was a delay, but usually it's about 2 weeks. We definitely know that the clients are very eager to get started because now their surrogate has been screened, and that's a process. I mean, she has to go through medical and psychological, and so they've been waiting. A lot of them have been waiting 2, 5, 10 years. So once it gets screened, they just want to go and they want to have a baby.
Wow, that's pretty efficient. You can get everything done in 2 weeks. Pretty efficient.
Yeah, I've done it faster before, but I don't recommend that.
Do you have like an acceleration service for people who want to move fast?
It depends. It depends. Usually I don't. The agency will come to me sometimes and they'll say, "Oh please, oh please, oh please," and right. So in that case, I go, okay, and that's what we're known for. My tagline is "Reproductive Law Made Easy," and I know from my personal experience how stressful it is. So I want to make it as easy as possible. So if things happen and you need to go really fast, then we're going to do the best that we can.
Okay, thank you for your detailed answer. So, and in the surrogacy contract, and IPs always ask, what if the surrogate mother just smoke, just drink alcohol after the pregnancy and whole process? I always tell them you cannot control their life. They have their own life. Is there any restrictions in the contract?
Oh, there are a lot of restrictions in the contract, but I definitely know what it's like not to be able to control your surrogate's life because I couldn't control mine. And there were some things she did, and I was like, but remember, your surrogate is tested for cigarettes, and we can test her at any time. So if we get a call from the agency, we get a call from the doctor's office, and they say, you know, she's acting a little funny, and then contract's good, we pull her in for testing. You know, so alcohol, I think she's tested for that. She's tested for recreational drugs. But you can really tell in the beginning, when the agency does their interviews, they can really tell if she is going to go through with it, because it's a lot of work. She has the interview process. They get her medical records. They talk to her about her family, her home life, or is she stable, her friends, what does she do? What does she do for fun? What does she do? You know, her social circle. So they really go through all that in depth so that they know. And then how good is she at following up? How good is she answering your texts? Does she answer them right away? How good is she answering her emails? You know, when it calls up and the clinic says, okay, I'm sorry, your appointment's canceled, but you need to go today right now at 4 o'clock, and she goes, okay, I think I can make that work. Or does she say, oh gosh, it's way too much, I can't even do that? Because it's work. It's a really big job. So there's signs. I mean, it's not 100%. There's sometimes you get through and you've got these lovely IPs and you've got this just not very nice surrogate. But for the most part, they do a good job of really interviewing her and screening her, and you've got a good team with the doctor and the attorney and the psychologist. You can weed out a lot of the bad people.
Yeah, because I understand most of the surrogate mothers, they want to help more people, to make their dream of having a healthy baby come true.
They do, and the questions that they ask are really simple, but they really tell the agency a lot. And you can really tell when you talk to surrogates, yeah, they want to protect themselves, and they want to make sure that they're going to get the compensation that they agreed on, because they're pregnant 24/7. It's not like a job where you can, you know, go home at the end of the day at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. You're working 24/7. So they really want to make sure that is in place. But they really do it because they really want to give somebody a baby. It really breaks their heart that there are people out there that can't have children.
Yeah, I've been always curious about how do you manage the surrogate throughout the 9 months, the 10 months. So you do like monthly check with her?
For the most part, I hear from my parents, and you know, when I talk to them and we're doing the parentage order, and for the most part they get so much information from the surrogates. Some surrogates write books for them and keep a journal, so they have like little moments that have gone on. So the parents are really excited for the baby, and so, you know, and that's what you want in a surrogate. You want a surrogate to want to tell the intended parents, you know, oh, I felt the baby kick today for the first time. I had the ultrasound. So, because you want a good relationship.
Yeah, they become a really good friend. And some IPs want to know like long-term friend with a surrogate mother after the baby is born. Stephanie, as like really good, excellent attorney in the United States. So, you have any recommendation for our IPs in the legal part?
Well, when you work with me as an attorney, you don't have to call at different hours and make an appointment to speak to somebody who speaks Mandarin. We use WeChat. Like I said, our contract is translated into Mandarin. Most of our documents are. I have an attorney who speaks Mandarin. And I've been through the process, so we really care about you. Very thorough contract review, definitely a very thorough parentage review. But if you want to talk to us, you WeChat us, you email us, we respond to you because we know how stressful this is. And I always tell my staff, think of it this way: if you had to travel to a foreign country and you had trouble having a baby and you didn't speak the language, how would you feel? And that's where we come from.
Yeah, that's just a really important decision made by our IPs to use a surrogate to make their dream come true. And thank you so much today for sharing with us a lot of valuable experiences, and your knowledge make us know more about this industry and the details. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.